welcome back to Origin of the Frequency. I'm currently Sir Christopher, and thank you for tuning in. Alright, so basically what I'm going to be going over today with y'all is basically I'm going to be talking about sleep paralysis and fear and all of that comes up during meditation or, you know, trying to get out of the body or listening to the gateway tapes or listen to the septicink tapes. All of that kind of goes into this because you can have this same experience. Only thing you have to do is not move, and then your body is going to start shutting itself down, and then you're basically going to start losing feeling of every place that your body is turning itself off on. So I have my iPad here, and I have a experience that I felt like I overcame a big breakthrough, even though I hadn't had a conscious OBE yet. I feel like that this is gonna play a big role into me getting out of my body. And anybody that's watching this right now, I feel like that you were meant to find this, and you probably could get something out of this as well. If it resonates with you, you know, take what you find of value and leave the rest, because I know that my journey is not going to be like your journey and vice versa. Before I actually read this, I actually have something that I wanted to talk about. So what I noticed is I've been consuming a lot of OBE content, astral projection content, near-death experience content, just anything that has to do with death, the body, getting outside of your body, dreams, all of that type of stuff. I've been consuming it, and one of the people I've been watching a lot of their content is the Alchemist 369, and I'll leave his channel in the description as well, just because I got so much information from him that I resonated with a lot of what he said and stuff like that. So I know fear is a big hurdle for a lot of people when it comes to OBEs and getting in that state. When I would consume this content, I would be fired up, you know, in the middle of the day. I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm fired up. I'm gonna go into this OBE. I'm gonna meditate. You know, I'm not gonna move, and I'm gonna just face my fears and all that stuff. But then when it starts to happen, and you feel that sleep paralysis coming on, and you feel like you ain't got no face no more, and you can't feel your breathing necessarily. You still can feel the breathing, but it gets really weird because you haven't felt these sensations before, because usually you're unconscious when your body is shutting down. So you consume all this content and you're excited about it, and then you're like, okay, let's go face your fears. Okay, so every time now I've gotten to a place where sleep paralysis starts to hit, I start to get adrenaline rushes, and I start to feel my heart beating. Then it starts to feel like I can't breathe as well as I normally am. It's like I'm not getting enough oxygen. Like, all this shit starts to come to the forefront when your body actually starts to shut down and you're getting ready to come out. Yeah, so I noticed this was my big hurdle. So now let me go ahead and go into the breakthrough with y'all and break down my notes and what I put in it. I usually always do my notes and stuff directly after the experience, so I don't forget anything, even if it's the smallest detail, because that's usually the smallest stuff is the learned lessons. Even though it's not big, it's like, oh shit, like I've been trying to overcome this. Alright, so I was listening to the Bowl app. I'll put the Bowl app in the description below, because you can choose like which sounds you want. And then they have like a lot of different meditations on the app that you can choose from. So I think it's a really cool app, and I'm not sure the amount that they charge, but I do have another app. I think it's called Binaural Beats, and for $20 a year, you can actually customize different sounds, different meditations, all that type of shit. But I was listening to the Bowl app this day, so let's go ahead and break that shit down for y'all. So I was listening to the Bowl app with the meditations about balancing the chakras, and I fell asleep. From that point, I was able to wake up without moving, because when I woke up, I was still listening to the app, which reminded me to stay still. At one point, even that meditation went off. So now it's just me and my body without all the extra thinking that my brain usually does. But now I feel my body starting to get paralysis, starting in my legs. I got scared at first and my body was screaming at me. So when I first got scared, the sleep paralysis was coming up my legs. So it was like I started to feel my legs disappeared, and I started to feel like my thighs. And then when it got like right there to like my stomach area, I started to feel it coming over the top of my head as well. So I know a lot of people say it comes from the stomach, from the legs up to your head. But for me, whatever reason, it came up to like my waist, and then I started to feel it coming over my actual head, which then I was like, damn. So yeah, once this happened, my body was like, I got this crazy thought, just like, it was in my head, just like screaming. It was like, you can move whenever you want. What's the point of you sitting here going through this? Like, you don't have to sit here and go through sleep paralysis. You can move before it takes over fully. Like, this is what's going through my head. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not stopping, because I always get to this point with sleep paralysis, which I can't even always get to. So I always get to this point, and then I always shake it off because it starts to feel like a little bit too much. Excitement and fear kind of goes hand in hand depending on which way you look at it. Because if you ever notice, with excitement, you still have those same feelings as fear, but it's the way that you're perceiving it at that moment which makes excitement fear and fear excitement. You see what I'm saying? It's both sides of the same coin, but just the way you're looking at it. So when I did get this adrenaline rush, it started to feel like I couldn't breathe, right? So that's when my body was telling me like, hey bro, you don't have to go through this shit, bro. Like, move your arm and just open your eyes. Just wake up. You don't have to go through this shit. Like, what are you doing this for? All that. So I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm here. You know, I gotta do this. So after that, after I said that, I got my breathing under control. I took one big, it wasn't like a big breath to the point where I'm like, it was controlled. I was like, okay, it feels like that I haven't been getting enough oxygen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in, but not overly so. So I took a breath, not a really deep one, but a good one. So I took a deep breath in. Now, once I did that, that pulled me back together a little bit. And then that's when I start regulating my breathing again. And I'm like, okay, we got this shit. Let's keep going. So right around this time, right when that had happened, I was sitting there, you know, with my thoughts and stuff. And then my girlfriend, who is in the bed next to me when I'm practicing at this time, she lays on my hand, like legit, like I feel her lay on me. So it went from not being able to feel my body to now I'm feeling my body again because she's laying on me. So it kind of throws off everything. So, but I got this clear like directions in this moment. It was just like, you know what, don't move. And I clearly got this in my head. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like your guys can come through at different times, and even your higher self. I feel like it could come through when you least expect it. You know what I mean? So what I heard in my head at that point was, you can, like, don't move right now. It's gonna come a time where you can move your arm, but don't do it right now, because if you do it right now, it's going to throw everything off, and you gonna come out of where you at, and it's gonna throw everything off. So I was like, okay, cool. So instead of getting, mad or angry or disappointed or upset, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just listen. So I sit there for a little minute. I got my breathing back under control after that, because I felt myself start to go in the direction of getting mad. But I was like, you know what? Let me stop that and let me go another way. I did eventually get to the point where something in me said, you can move to get her off. Just make sure you immediately go back to being still. So I don't know how much time had passed from when she first got on me to I moved her. So yeah, I waited for that time, and I didn't even think, like I said, I didn't even think about it, y'all. Like, when you are in these states, you don't want to be too logical, because then it starts to throw everything off. You just have to go with that gut intuitive feeling. So that's what I did. I waited for the right time, and I pushed her leg off of my arm. Like, I woke up, pushed it, and moved back, because so that was enough for her to realize that I'm still up in my body, even if it looks like I'm asleep, because I can understand why she may have thought I was asleep, because my breathing pattern by this point was automatic. So after that, I was still getting scared a bit because the feeling of sleep paralysis. But at some point, I thought about something I heard the Alchemist 369 say. So this is the dude I was talking about earlier about watching all his content. So and I believe, I'm not sure 100% on this, but I think he heard it from Darius J. Wright, because I believe I heard Darius J. Wright say it in an interview that I was watching of his. I got this in my head about you have to be ready to die in this moment. When it came into my head, I didn't think about it logically, like, oh, well, why did that pop up into my head right now? Or is that true? Do I really have to be ready for death before I'm able to you know, get out of my body? But I felt it internally, like, no, this is right. Like, this is going to make you be able to get past the fear. Because the biggest thing for me is like the body's fear of death and shutting down consciously, and that feeling of having that heaviness placed on your being, like on your human body, but realizing that I'm more than my human body. I'm bigger than that. Like, the human body is like a cage actually, and it's holding my spirit in place. Like, it's holding my soul, or I don't even feel like it's holding all of my soul. I feel like it's holding a piece of it. So yeah, it said I have to be basically ready for death or whatever, right? So I said in my head, you know, I was like, okay. I calm myself down again. I'm like, you know what? They right. Like, I have to be ready for death. Like, I have to accept it. I can't sit up here and try to fight it. I can't like be like, oh, I'm gonna do it and then back out at the last minute. No, I have to be fully committed. So once I said that I have to be ready for death, something in me just switched. I don't know what, but it's like I found the key to unlock something. So you laying down, you have to be ready for death and just surrender to it. And for whatever reason, that was all I needed. I fully embodied, if death happened, it's okay. Hell, I was even embracing it happily. Yeah, I started to embrace it happily, like, hey, this is a good day to die. Like, you know, pick today to die, then I would die today. Like, it is what it is. Like, I can't live my life going based on fear or when I might die, or will this experience kill me? Like, I know that's not true deep down, and I know that I am more than my physical body, and that's not based on what I've heard anybody else say or anything like that. I know from me, from my experience, what I've seen, that we're more than our physical body. And because we're all one in the same, we all came from source, and we're basically source acting out itself with other characters and living different lives at this moment. Content, like, I was like, my whole mood around it changed. Where I was scared of sleep paralysis, now I fucking embraced it. I was like, let's go. Because before this, sleep paralysis had been coming on and coming off, but it was like every time sleep paralysis was getting ready to fully come on, something would happen. And the last thing was my girlfriend getting on my arm. So it gets to a part in the meditation where you realize that you're doing too much dialogue and you have too much logical shit happening in your brain, and you have to let go. And I was at that point where, when I say let go, it's almost kind of like, you know that feeling when you give up and you go to sleep and you lay down and it's like you have to give into it before you fall asleep all the way. It's that, but you're still awake. So yeah, so this is what happened next. So I started to focus on my breathing through my nose, and I closed my mouth. So I'm still able, like, I'm still moving certain parts of my face. So I would close my mouth because my mouth had got dry because I had been breathing through my mouth and not my nose. So I closed my mouth and started breathing through my nose. And I just let go. So after I let go, I did start to feel some things happening a bit with my energy body. So it felt like my arms were stretching. It felt like that they were just stretching. I didn't get vibrations, but it did start to feel like I was spinning a little bit. And I don't know if I'm one of the people who don't get vibrations and I just get spins before I exit. I've gotten to a point where I felt my energy where it was kind of chaotic and I was kind of like bouncing all over. So yeah, after all that happened, after I let go, then my girlfriend eventually woke me up and she was talking about eating or whatever because it was getting late. So I was like, okay, I felt content in what I had did. And I was proud of myself for it. And I know I made a big breakthrough. And the next time that sleep paralysis does come up, I'm going to get the same control, that I got this time. I'm gonna, you know, calm myself down, and I'm gonna tackle sleep paralysis and just let it come on. And I don't know why, when I fully gave up to the experience, why it didn't happen for me, but I did let myself go in that moment. Meaning, like, I let the experience take me. I was fully conscious, and I completely let go and just let it happen. I felt, you know, within myself that I had did enough. I was proud of myself, but I also got this feeling intuitively as well. It felt like my guides were whispering in my ear on what to do when I started to panic, and was so close to just moving and breaking out of the body sleep mind awake state. But I decided to just let go. But I decided to just let go. But before I did that, I commanded my space. See, this is why I write this stuff down, because you don't remember everything that was happening in that moment until you start to, like, go back over this shit. And then you remember, like, damn, I did do that. But then you forget it happened. And I think it's kind of like the whole, how it works with dreams as well, because you forget you forget your dreams unless you make it a point to not forget them. So yeah. So before I fully let go, I commanded my space as a sovereign being. I put a huge bubble up around my house, and I said in my head, I'm claiming my space. If you aren't walking in integrity and don't mean my soul good, then I command you to leave my space.